Yo, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Thrifty back with another banger video for y'all boys. And look, man, this video, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna be reacting to some top 5 most I'm just guess scariest threads or some of the creepiest threads like that, man. This is a requested video, you know what I'm saying, from one of my brothers, you know what I'm saying. You know I gotta come through. Look, if y'all boys want me to react to a certain video, just make sure y'all comment it in the comments below, you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna get straight to it, you know what I'm saying. But this finna be a crazy video, so just sit back, relax, grab a snack, and let's get into it, man. Yeah. All right, man. Gas mask. See what's talking. Y'all can see I'm sub to bro. You know, I'm sub to him. You know, these type of channels right here, bro, take the most work. You wanna know why? Because you have to study, bro. This is much respect to Chilling Scares, man. Much respect to him.
On the 19th of September 2017, an anonymous 4chan user posted a picture of a gas mask, 2 bottles of vinegar, and a jug of bleach, captioned, "About to test out this gas mask." While some brushed it off thinking that the OP was just messing around, a few showed genuine curiosity and egged on the OP to continue his experiment. Okay, post results if you live. However, this curiosity turned into—
Hold on. What could go wrong with report? What is an OP? And to be honest, I don't even know what a thread is. I'm thinking, so based off all this anonymous shit, I'm already guessing this is like some Telegram / dark web type shit. You know what I'm saying? These niggas be doing dumb shit on here. I can tell. Just look at it, my nigga. I don't even know what a thread or an OP is, my nigga. The only thing, well, PO. The only thing I get from PO is a PO box, my nigga. So
concerned when the OP returned with an update 20 minutes later.
OP. I'm tweaking. I thought it was PO.
Stating, "What could go wrong? We'll report." Alongside this, he posted a picture of the vinegar being poured into a mysterious yellow substance, which looks shockingly similar to concentrated chlorine gas.
Whoa.
For those who don't know, chlorine gas is a deadly war chemical that was used by the German army during the First World War.
You get hit by this, buddy, just go ahead and say rip. Nigga, you're cooked. Nigga, not even, you're fried. Literally fried. Literally.
More importantly, the only chemicals needed to synthesize this dangerous gas are bleach and vinegar, the exact materials OP had with him. The OP either didn't know about the gas or seriously underestimated its danger. Unfortunately, by the time he realized the gravity of his situation, it was already too late. Because just a few minutes later, he returned with a disturbing update. "Holy, it hurts. Might have to go to the hospital." This also included a picture that showed his arm developing blisters and turning an alarming shade of red. These symptoms matched perfectly with known signs of chlorine gas exposure, sparking immediate concern for the safety of OP and anyone in his vicinity.
This guy is baked, bro.
"You fool, that will burn your skin and soak into your surroundings. Legit question, please tell me you don't have an apartment / pets or roommates. Depending on your mixture, you just messed up big time. Let's say you made only 4 ounces of gas. That comes out to 29,962 parts per million. Concentrations of about 400 parts per million and above are generally fatal over 30 minutes, and at 1,000 parts per million and above, fatality ensues within only a few minutes. Dude, go vent yourself somewhere and literally bathe with a garden hose. You are going to melt otherwise. It acts on flesh, not just on breathing pathways. It melts flesh, which makes people drown in their own melted lungs. But your arms can get messed up too."
This man is a doctor. What is a doctor doing in here, bro? Real talk.
While the other users were panicking, the OP made 2 other posts, each showing his arm in increasingly worse condition. "It's starting to peel and fall off."
Red flag. First off, why are you still in the bathroom that you was just in a couple minutes ago? There should be no reason you should still be in the same bathroom if your skin is peeling, bro. Off the rip, you should be going to the emergency room or something, bro. What do you mean you don't want to call emergency, my nigga? You ain't just hear, bro, just told you, bro. You're finna, see, this is what I'm talking about. Y'all motherfuckers want to do goofy shit. You should have looked this up before you did it. Why just do something you don't know that you know what I'm saying, that you don't know what's gonna happen for real? You need to look this shit up, my guy. Use your brain. This guy nigga ain't no way.
"Still hurts," with his last reply simply stating, "Goodbye." After posting this update, the OP vanished from the thread, leading many to believe that he might have actually passed away due to this experiment gone wrong. Some even claimed the incident had taken the lives of several of his neighbors. However, despite extensive searching, I wasn't able to find any news reports mentioning such a gruesome incident. If something of this magnitude had actually happened, it would have definitely made headlines. More importantly, I couldn't find a single credible source confirming just the OP's death either. In other words, we don't know what happened to him after his last post. The lack of any news coverage could suggest that the OP may have survived the chlorine gas exposure, possibly after calling emergency services and being rushed to the hospital. But that's highly unlikely. Even in moderate concentration, chlorine gas can end someone's life in minutes.
Wow.
Yet the OP kept posting about his worsening state for over 30 minutes after in minutes. Yet the OP kept posting about his worsening
That don't look like that though.
State for over 30 minutes after creating the deadly chemical. Which brings us to the other possibility, that this whole thing was completely fake from the beginning. To some viewers, the peeling skin on his arm looks suspiciously like makeup, or at most some well-done special effects. A now deleted user on Reddit even added a personal anecdote to back this theory, stating, "I have a face mask exfoliator that goes on wet and looks pretty much the same as Anon's skin in the first pic, and peels off like the following pics. See how the skin is peeling off and shows regular skin underneath? If he was actually burned, the skin underneath would look red and or bleeding. He probably just grabbed one of his girlfriend's exfoliators and slapped it on because it looked red enough to fool people." If the whole thing was staged, it would also explain some of the strange behavior I noticed from the OP. Things like, why did he stay in the bathroom with the hazardous gas for so long instead of rushing out immediately? And how was he able to endure the excruciating pain he must have been in, all while taking perfectly framed still pictures of his arm? However, despite all the signs suggesting it was a complete hoax, there's still no definitive way to know for sure. Maybe one day a news article will be found that announced the OP's death, or perhaps the OP will come forward and reveal the truth. Until then, the gas mask incident remains one of the most...
Look at this. Creepy, bro.
Most disturbing threads in 4chan history.
Bro, back then, bro, she used to be scary for real. Killer clowns and shit. Y'all remember that, my nigga? That shit used to be scary, my nigga.
Bank robber. On August 20, 2015, a 4chan user posted his plans to rob a bank later that day, stating, "Okay, today is the day. I'm going to walk into the bank at 3 p.m. with sunglasses, a hat, a sweater, a BB gun, and this note. I'll get out at..."
Hold up. 2015, y'all gotta think about this, bro. A BB gun, look, 2015, I always wanted a BB gun, my nigga. Back then when I was a legit, I always wanted a BB gun. And seeing this, I remember when the pellet guns was going crazy, my nigga. They looked like real and felt like real guns, my nigga. Well, at least to me, they was heavy. They looked legit, my nigga. I remember back then, little teenagers was, you know what I'm saying? I remember a nigga got killed for aiming a BB gun at a cop, my nigga. He got killed, my nigga. So, think about this. 2015, off the flap, these niggas gonna think that's a real gun, bro. Cause pellet guns looked real, bro. I ain't seen a pellet gun in years, but, bro, I know by now they definitely look real.
Dump the sweater and BB gun and ride out on my bike back to the hotel.
Think about it. If he had it in his pocket, he could have just flashed it. He ain't even got to show the little, you know what I'm saying, the little circle right there. He ain't even got to show that. He could just show the one where, you know what I'm saying, the little pistol.
I'm serious. Wish me luck. Alongside this was a picture of a handwritten note that he planned to hand over to the bank teller, stating things like, "I want $5,000, $150 bills only, and I have a gun in my jacket." However, threads like these aren't anything new on 4chan. More often than not, it's just some anonymous user who's bored, trolling, or desperate for attention.
Okay.
So, despite the OP's insistence on being serious about his plans, this one seemed no different. One user even recognized the OP from a previous thread where he talked about robbing the bank for $20,000 instead. To make matters worse, the OP didn't use a VPN before, allowing someone to trace his approximate location back to Jacksonville. By this point, most users saw the OP as nothing more than a clueless wannabe. However, while everyone was making fun of him, the OP did what no one expected. He followed through with his plans, setting off a manhunt that would last for weeks. It started with him showing off the BB gun he brought to the robbery and getting drunk to calm his nerves. From there, he stayed active in the thread and kept everyone updated on his whereabouts. He also ditched anonymity and began posting under the Anon Dump username so others could follow his updates more easily. Minutes before the planned time, he posted about someone stealing his bike, which he was going to use for the robbery, before going completely silent. This led many to believe that the plan was cancelled, but around 25 minutes later, Anon Dump returned with images of the money he stole along with a detailed description of what he did and what he was doing next. However, while he saw himself as a master criminal, the police weren't far behind. His hat and glasses did little to hide his identity, allowing investigators. Police weren't far behind. His hat and glasses.
Look, bro. No way this nigga thought they was not gonna like get his identity. Look at this guy. If this guy right here walked in, if this nigga right here walked in the bank and I'm sitting there and I see him, I'm not taking him serious, bro. I'm dead ass. Just look at him. Nigga look like a person that just want to fit in completely, my nigga. Literally.
Did little to hide his identity.
I probably would have.
Allowing
this nigga look like a goof.
Investigators to plaster his face across news networks. They also put a $3,000 reward for any information that could lead to his arrest. This left the OP fearing for his life as the gravity of his actions began to sink in. Hey guys, guy who robbed the bank here. My face is on the news and there's a $3,000 reward for tips leading to my capture. I'm scared. Robbing a bank wasn't worth it at all. I have like $4,800 left. I'm scared of leaving the hotel. I want to get out of here, but somebody may see me. I'm trapped. And this fear was justified. He was now a fugitive who was being actively pursued by the police. On top of that, he also had a BB gun on him, which looked like a real gun at first glance. If the officers barged into his hotel room and saw this gun nearby, there was a real possibility he could lose his life over a relative.
Didn't I tell y'all? Motherfuckers used to use, bro. I remember, bro, back then. Be at my grandma's house. Motherfucker. I'm sitting here on the couch. My grandma gonna pull up a not pull up a video, but something come on the TV. They talking about a teen has died because he pointed a BB gun at a police officer. My nigga. That shit was crazy back then, my nigga. Literally.
Relatively small amount. Despite his growing fear.
And it'll still be like that because you think about it, nigga, these YNs ain't playing out here, my nigga. These YNs not playing. You see a YN with a ski mask on and you see a gun, my nigga, instantly you think that nigga is armed and dangerous, my nigga. I'm not sparing no nigga, bro.
He continued updating everyone on 4chan about his whereabouts until the 21st of August around 3 p.m. when, after hiding in a hotel room for nearly 24 hours, he managed to escape the city and vanish from the thread.
Wow.
Now, it's unclear what happened next, but based on what I've seen, it's likely the investigators were already monitoring his updates on 4chan. And his post about taking a cab from the hotel gave them the lead they needed to track him down.
This motherfucking Florida. This nigga, is he in the trenches? I know, Florida might, I don't know. I don't know Florida like that. I know a little bunch of hood niggas come there, but this nigga don't look like he from the hood. He look more like a suburban guy. That's what I'm talking about. He probably trying to fit in, bro.
September 2nd, 2015, authorities arrested 26-year-old
Look at him.
Pedro Smith, aka Anon Dump, about 70 miles from the crime scene in Gainesville. He was charged with armed robbery and faced a minimum of 10 years in prison. However, after a trial in September, he was sentenced to only 3 years in prison, which didn't make sense to some people on the internet. How did he get away with such a light sentence after robbing a bank and hiding from the police for so many days? A few people looked into his whereabouts after his release in March of 2018 and discovered that
hold up.
He was living in a luxurious home worth over $1.5 million.
Look, Florida, bro. This is Florida, bro. I told y'all, bro, you gotta scan these niggas players. Like, you gotta scan these niggas stats. Look at him. He don't look like he from the trenches.
$1 million in Miami. This pointed to the possibility that he had wealthy parents who could also afford top-tier lawyers to help reduce his sentence. In other words, the only reason Pedro had for robbing a bank and potentially risking his life was to gain the attention and approval of other users on 4chan.
That's wild, bro. Insane, bro.
Researching these 4chan videos is some of the sketchiest research I do on this channel. Everything is anonymous, so you'll see people post pretty much anything. There is no way I would trust sites like these with my personal information. But as it turns out, even the more trustworthy sites that I do give my information to don't always keep it safely. If you Google your name right now, there's a very high chance you'll be easily able to find things like your address, phone number, make and model of your car, who your relatives are, and a lot more. Like for me, I was able to find my salary from previous jobs with literally just a few clicks, which is insane.
Nigga, I'm watching an ad.
This is because all-in-one, but not usually more fun with that'll be enough. The Monon Tunnels. In April of 2018, a 4chan user made a post seeking information about a disturbing picture they recently came across. It read, "On one of the recent iceberg chart threads, someone mentioned the Monon Tunnels not being on the iceberg. When I went to Google what these tunnels were, the only results I got were the original thread and pic related. Does anyone know more about it? I don't know how to read EXIF data." Coupled with the post was an image that looked like the aftermath of a horrific crime scene. It depicts two masked figures standing in a grass field at night, their index finger.
Yo, this picture, look. I hope nobody died in here because I see a kid. This obviously looks like a kid is dead, my nigga, right there. I hope nobody died. I can see if we remove that kid, my nigga, and we looking at these two goofies, and we can make this an album cover, my nigga. This is fire, nigga. Am I the only one? I can see this as a album cover, bro.
Fingers raised towards the sky. Behind them is what looks like the remains of a young child in a red jacket lying face down on the grass. Unfortunately, no one on 4chan had any clue what the OP was talking about either. One user did claim to have seen a similar image back in the 2000s when they first started using 4chan, but they didn't provide any further information. The contents of the image also divided the community in two. Some speculated that this was the trophy photo the two men took after ending a life.
Hopefully not.
They look like hunters posing with a fresh kill, while others weren't so convinced. I feel like this might just be some kind of photo shoot. You know, like a bunch of kids hanging out and they decided why not take some pictures, which led them to taking this picture just for them to show it around on the internet for shock or something. Which begs the question, what is this really?
2022?
I tried searching for answers myself, however information surrounding this image is surprisingly hard to come by. For starters, the OP mentioned an iceberg chart thread in their post, but never provided the link or even the name of the thread. Looking at the image itself, there's not much we can gather from it either. There are no visible landmarks or even stars in the sky that could help us pinpoint the location where the image was taken. The only clue we have is the name, the Monon Tunnels, referring to the tiny town called Monon, Indiana. But even that's not much help, since the town is littered with hundreds of flat grass patches that could have served as the backdrop for this image. The camera noise makes it near impossible to estimate the year this image was taken based on the image quality as well. And there wasn't any useful information in its embedded data either. I also couldn't find any exact matches on the internet outside the original 4chan through reverse image searching. However, while looking for similar images, I came across something that could potentially clue us into the origin of this unsettling image. You see, there are two distinct possibilities for what it represents. First is that it was taken by a couple of serial killers as trophy photo proof of their horrible crime. But I wasn't able to find any matching incident that happened in Monon or its surrounding area. Even if the killers were never caught, there would still probably be a report where the victim's description aligns with the person we see in the image. Which leads us into the second, more likely possibility. This was simply a group of friends, and the person lying in the background is actually an adult who likely passed out after a night of drinking. Now, there's no way to know if the disturbing feel of the image was intentional or not, but the possibility of this being a completely harmless picture is fairly high.
Bro, that's a kid, bro. That look like a kid.
Reverse image searching it brings up hundreds of similar photos, with people having fun and lying down on a patch of grass at night. That being said, this is nothing more than conjecture on my part, and the reality could be anything. Then there's also the question of how the OP got their hands on this image if it's nowhere else to be found on the internet. Sadly, it's been over 7 years since the original thread, meaning it's unlikely we'll ever uncover the truth.
Yeah, buddy.
Spoon and duct tape experiment. On the 9th of April 2010, an anonymous 4chan user posted a fun science experiment for others to try. The instructions were as follows. Go to your kitchen and find a nice metal spoon. Teaspoons work too, but normal ones are better. Get yourself a lighter. The bigger the flame, the better. Get some duct tape and wrap it around the handle, about 4 to 6 layers. Start heating up the spoon with the lighter. Make it really hot. Holding it just above the flame for about 2 minutes should work. Go to a faucet and turn on cold water at full force. Hold the spoon directly under the faucet. Post results. At first glance, this experiment looked like it had something to do with steam. Maybe pressing the hot spoon under the faucet would instantly vaporize the water, filling the room with a sudden burst of steam or fog, something along those lines. When, in reality, the results were much worse. Whoever thought of this wicked experiment did so with the intention of hurting people, unfortunately their plan worked better than they could have expected. Within the first hour of the thread going live, nearly a dozen people had injured themselves attempting to follow the instructions. I thought, hey, what could go wrong, and I tried it. At first, it steamed in my face like crazy, and then the spoon started ticking and split into 3 parts.
Soon as you heard the ticking, you should have threw the spoon, my nigga.
One shooting through a plate, one through a cut, and the last barely missed me. I don't believe this, so I thought I would try this, expecting something cool would happen, like a lot of smoke. But instead, I got a shrapnel spoon. It nearly exploded in my hand and shards went off in all directions, causing me to take cover. This nearly cost me my life. I'm not coming here again. OP, why? I covered my face expecting steam. My hands are bleeding so much it hurts.
Bro, you better be lucky you covered your hands, bro. Whatever you covered your face with your hands, bro. Cause if you wouldn't have did that, how do we tell him?
No one do this. Extreme cooling causes metals to burst. Now, 4chan is no stranger to causing widespread harm with these cool experiments, like the one I covered in my previous 4chan video. However, this one stood out for just how dangerously destructive it was. It used extremely common household items like duct tape and a spoon. And because it didn't involve any chemicals, people were far less cautious about just how dangerous it could be. According to one explanation, heating the spoon causes the inner layers of the tape to become extremely hot, almost to the point of melting, while the outer layers remain cool enough to still touch. Then, as the hot spoon comes under cold water, it quickly cools down. But since the inner tape around the handle is still scorching hot, it causes extreme temperature and pressure differences within the spoon, causing it to explode, sending shrapnel everywhere.
Man.
And while the damage on 4chan was already immense, that was only the beginning. From there, this experiment spread like wildfire to other popular forum sites like Newgrounds, claiming even more victims in the process. The only silver lining here is that the spoon and duct tape experiment copy pasta has since faded into obscurity. So, at the very least, it hopefully won't be causing any more injuries. Epileptic attack. Back in 2008, some 4chan users got together and came up with one of the most cruel pranks in the site's history. Now, unfortunately, most of that thread has been lost to time. The only surviving proof I could find was this screenshot detailing what to do, stating, Epileptic forum raid. 1. Make account. 2. Spam flashing gifs, party hard, etc. 3. Troll the user base. 4. Question marks. 5. Profit. Their target was the Epilepsy Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to supporting individuals with epilepsy and helping them find the care they need. After agreeing on a plan, the group of anonymous users headed over to the foundation's website and exploited a security vulnerability to gain unrestricted access to the support forum.
Bro, this is so bad, bro. I don't know what they finna do, bro, but this is bad. I can already tell.
From there, they used a script to post hundreds of messages embedded with flashing animated GIFs with hopes of catching visitors off guard and triggering seizures.
Okay, but
tragically, this was just as effective as they expected. Within seconds of the attack, dozens of users began experiencing intense migraines, with some even suffering full-blown seizures. One of the site's visitors, 33-year-old Rianne Foltz, described her painful experience in a later interview, stating, "It was a spike of pain in my head, and the lockup that only happens with really bad ones. I don't think I've had a seizure like that in about a year." She was just one of many victims that were swept up in what can only be described as a truly evil act. All the while, the 4chan attackers were celebrating their victory, laughing at the victim's pain, and calling the attack.
I can only imagine what these people karma is gonna be, bro. For real, dude. Like, Hold up. Oh, 8. It is old as a bit.
Incredible and amazing. Fortunately, the Epilepsy
said this is amazing.
Foundation's IT department managed to quickly take control of the situation before it escalated into a widespread crisis. And while I couldn't find any solid proof, a few sources suggest that the attack may have triggered an FBI investigation. Unfortunately, because of 4chan's anonymity, the people responsible for this horrible attack were never identified or held accountable.
Dude, that's messed up, bro. I just wanna look, man. Let me fix my shit, bro. Get right. Look, bro. Y'all see it's getting dark, my nigga. Hey, I'm finna go to sleep in a minute, my nigga. I'm finna go to sleep. But look, this is what I want to tell y'all boys, man. First off, think twice before you do something. You know what I'm saying? Y'all seen your old buddy with the robbery? Complete idiot, my nigga. Complete foolishness. Second off, research, bro. Research. If you don't know what's gonna happen, bro, and you just doing something, my nigga, research it first. And if you can't find it, make sure you got the most protection ever. So because you see it on the internet don't mean you gotta do it. You know what I'm saying? And third of all, you know what I'm saying, final, stay out of trouble, bro. Stay out the way. Be yourself. Peace.